Okay, I think we're actually live. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go here. So that took a lot. It's my first time live streaming. I hope my lips are synced. So let me see. It looks like we are live according to the YOLO box here and YouTube. So let's see what I have here. Okay, let me put this down below. Verifying, okay. So let me see. All right, so what I'm going to do today is talk about the memory rainbow and what it is and how it works for me. Let me go ahead and pull up Premiere Pro. That way I can show you some of this. Let's see if I can find a chart in here. Let's see. Okay, let's bring this over here. And let's find the chart. Where are you? Okay, I thought I had a chart here. Let's see. So anyway, okay, so the idea is that the memory rainbow is something that I invented a few years ago, and the way it's set up is it's based on the rainbow. The rainbow, as you know, normally has, basically the 7 colors, and I modified it to 10 colors. So it starts off with red, orange, yellow being 3, green 4, blue is 5, 6 is purple. And then I made the 7th color gold, the 8th color silver, the 9th color is white, and the 10th color is black, because our base 10 system, our Arabic system, is sort of like in groups of 10. So it was really important to set it up as 10, given 0 also the color black. All right, so another thing I did was I put together the letters of our alphabet. They're 26 and they're not 10 and 10. So I had to kind of expand from 26, 27, 28, 29 to 30. So, and then 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and so forth. And with the chart, you would be able to see that. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can bring up. This is my computer, and it talks about building photographic memory. So let's see. Let me go in here and find. Let me go in here to documents, and let's take a look at this chart. And let me pull this up so we can see this. Okay. So this is the very first. Let me see if I can add a source here. Let's do a picture in picture, and let's make this 1. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to make this one 2. Okay, good. So you can see me there, and this is the chart here, so I'll move it around as needed. Okay, so right now I think it's okay. Let me go ahead and this, as you can see, I have the 10 columns here: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, gold, silver, white, black. And in this column, you see red. Red has 1, the Arabic number 1, and then the letter A. So A is the first letter of the alphabet, number 1 of our number system. And a symbol I use is apple or Adam, the first man. And then when we go to orange, that's 2. And the B is the second letter of our alphabet. And bird for B. is my symbol. The same thing for yellow. Number 3 would be the cat, and you have the letter C. Okay, over here is green. You have the number 4, which goes along with D, is the 4th letter of our alphabet, and the dog or the doctor. We have both animals. I tried to link both animals as well as a power hero, which is sort of like a humanoid superhero figure. So you'll see a combination. I put the animals in because they're a little bit easier to work with. So now number 5, the letter is E, and I have the blue elephant. Eve is also, you have Adam is number 1, and Eve is actually blue. So she's number 5. Purple, you have the purple firefox is the symbol, the letter F, and the number 6. Why? Because F and 6 match each other, number and letter. For gold, this is what I've added on, the purple and the gold. Number 7 is the gold or golden, and the letter is G for giraffe. Giraffe is the symbol. Also golden 7, which is the power hero. And she's head of the Federation. So later on we'll talk about the Majo Federation, which is a group of humanoids and humans who team up together from all 50 states to save the planet. You know, the old cliche, save the planet from the Pipers or aliens that would destroy our planet. So the whole thing works together very nicely as you plan in how to study and to team things up and group things up. You have to link and substitute. That is extremely important when you study and memorize things. So silver, we have Pegasus. You think of Pegasus or Pegasus. It was a play on word. So H is the flying horse, and I call him Pegasus. And the number is 8. So H. And then over here, white is the ninth letter of the alphabet is I. And it's the 9th number, of course. And I chose the white ibis bird to represent that. And we'll talk about the power hero that goes along with that. It's the kid from the future. All right, now, black, we have number 10, and J is jaguar, the black jaguar, representing 10, so 1 through 10. And later on, we'll use the number 0 to represent that color. Anything that ends in 0 will take on that black color. Anything that ends in 9 will take on the white color. If it ends in 8, it takes on the silver, the gold, the purple, the blue, the green, the yellow, the orange, and if it ends in 1, it takes on the red. And so you get sort of a system that develops, and you'll see as we go along. I'm going to move on to the next group. And here we're going to go from 11 to 20, and you'll see how this works. So this ends in 1. At the beginning, these are all going to be separate power heroes up until we get to 30, and then we're going to see how it changes. It all has to do with this alphabet and Arabic numbers. So number 11 is going to be the Red King. Number 12 is the Lion. It's the orange lion. The letter is L. The 12th letter is L. The 11th letter is K. 13th letter is M for monkey, so it's the yellow monkey, or the moon woman, and we'll talk about them later. Green, we have 14, N for the ninja. All right. 15 is for O for the owl. It's going to be the blue owl. Purple, we have 16, which is going to be P for the proud peacock, which is also the prince and princess of peace. So we'll see that. And we'll go over here to gold. That's representing Q, the golden queen. We'll talk about her later. Silver, 18. I love this one. It's the R for robot, which is really more like an android. You'll find out a lot about this particular humanoid who has the heart of a real person, a man. And he comes from another planet. So he's very cool. White is number 19, representing the star. That's going to be like Star Woman type thing. And humanoid. So the white star represents this number 19. Black, one of my favorite, number 20, is the letter T. For Tig, so like Tiger Boy, Tiger, and this is the black tiger from Mississippi. And this is going to be an interesting story in my book, which I've sort of been writing. And this particular humanoid comes from the planet Tigray, and he meets Missy from Mississippi. And you're going to see how these names are used. Her name is Missy Jackson, for example. Missy is a state of Mississippi. Jackson is a capital of Mississippi. So the names of the students who pair up with these humanoids and these animals to save our planet are going to come from both the 50 states of America, as well as the 50 capitals of these states. So Missy Jackson is one of the most prominent of the student power heroes that meets Tiger Boy, basically, or Tig from the other planet, and they have sort of like a little romantic relationship. So Missy Jackson, Mississippi. So it's another way of learning the capitals of the states of America. So that's really, really cool. So I really do like that. And so I'm going to move on, and I'll show you the next set and how this is going to change. Now, we have 21 through 29, which will basically end our alphabet. It actually ends at 26, but when you get to 30, we're going to see them moving in groups of 10 separately. So 21 is red, and that's going to be our red unicorn, and that letter is U. And you will learn all of these. They will just start to flow together, and it's not going to be as difficult as people think to remember the numbers and the letters. They work together very nicely, especially when you are taking note of these animals. So you have orange, which is 22. V are for the Victory Boys. They're twin boys, right? And so their symbol is a violin. 23 is going to be the yellow wolf, is the symbol here. And the letter is W. And that's going to be Weather Waters, Weather Girl. So she will be the humanoid. She's actually from Earth. Went to sleep in a coma and woke up a superhero. So that's an interesting part of my story. And you have 24 is green, and X here is X view. That's the power hero. And I just thought I'd use the binoculars because the power that he has to see through his eyes and through his binoculars, he can see through walls and see through people and has basically X-ray vision as an X-ray vision. Okay, so blue. I really love this one. This is 25, and the letter is Y. Yesterday's the name of the power hero. And the Blue Yeti, let me see if I can get this down so you can see it. Yeah, the Blue Yeti, you can see, is the very formidable creature, but friendly, because he's a member of what I call the Majo Federation. So, of power heroes, good people. So now you have purple. We have 26. We're at our last number. Z is the letter, and zebra, we see the zebra here. Let me move this down. Let me see if I can bring this up a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so we have the zebra, which is Z, okay? Then we're finished now with the alphabet. So each of these for the first 26, we have a nice match with an animal, that has the same name with the very same letter as the first letter in the word, right? So you have wolf, and you have the W matching. The zebra matches. Yeti matches. Then we get to 27. it's gonna for these three, 27, 28, and 29, we don't have alphabets. So I've devised a new system of alphabet. So my new alphabet for 27 is BG, and the reason is because number 2, if you remember, 2 goes along with the letter B, 7 goes along with the letter G. So this is going to be considered, and for me, I use this. If I see BG, I know it's 27 because it just substitutes very nicely. BH substitutes very nicely for 28. And this is the masked horse. It's different from Pegasus, which is the flying horse. Okay, this one is the masked horse and has like the masked rider. A rider on him is the power hero from another planet. So he generally will have a mask on him. So just keep those two different. The one with the wings is Pegasus, like Pegasus, and this one is the regular horse. Okay. Then we have 29. 29 also doesn't have a regular letter, so I made that up as B-I. 2 goes with B and 9 goes with I. All right, the 9th letter is I. The second letter is B. So B-I. So I use that as a new letter. It's a combination new letter. So if you wanted to write that, instead of writing the number 29, you can substitute it for B-I. If you're writing a phone number or remembering a code or putting together poetry, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Anything that you're writing, you can substitute these numbers for their letters. And I use the white glove as the symbol. The reason is the power hero's name is Change, just like something changing. He has the ability to touch something and take on the form of whatever he touches. So he can change himself into anything that he touches. That's the reason why he wears the white glove, so that if he touches you, he won't transform immediately into you and you're looking at yourself. So the white glove protects that transformation from occurring. So the white glove represents change. And then we're finished with that. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to the new series. It will be the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way up to 100. When you start with number 30, it takes on this 0, right? So C is the third letter. We talked about that before, which was the cat. So C and 3 goes together. 0 has no letter associated with it in our normal alphabet. So I decided to use the amp because it's kind of like that infinity nature of the 0 without a beginning, without an end. The amp is almost like that figure 8. So I decided to use that because I wanted something on the typewriter. I had something else I was using, but I decided to choose a letter from a symbol from our typewriter. So when you're typing, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and use it. So if you're writing the number 30, you can actually use C and the amp sign. That's what I'm using. If you find something else that's more useful, let me know. Maybe I can change it, or you can use it to substitute. But I find it useful as you're combining numbers into letters and words and sentences and codes, that it can be very useful. And what I use, which I really, really, really love, are the trees. So I have the entire tree people going from black, and let me bring up the rest of them. So the number 30 ends in 0, so that's the black tree. Let me move over to 40. And let me hit done on this one. Okay, good. We're still live. I hope that you can hear me. I don't have any way of knowing other than that. Let's see. It says we're recording and it says we're live. So I'm just assuming that we are still live. I'm just going to keep talking because it's my first time. And I don't have any, I don't know where the comment section is if anybody's listening. It's not scheduled, so I'm probably just talking to myself anyway. So here we are at 31 through 39. Notice how these colors are repeating themselves. You have 31 ends in red, it's the red tree. 32 ends in 2, it's the orange tree. the yellow tree, the green tree, the blue, the purple, the gold, the silver, and the white tree. And notice I did the same thing with the letters. So now all of these have letters that you can now use as you're studying and putting together formulas, math. You can do math with this, pretty much anything, history. So 31, 3 goes with C, 1 goes with A. So CA is the new letter for the red tree. 32, CB is the new letter for the orange tree. CC is the yellow tree because it's 2 C's, 2 3s and 2 C's. 34 is the green tree, ends in D. And always remember that the color, the dominant color, is represented by the last digit, or the last digit represents that color. So this 34 ends in 4. It is the 4th color of the rainbow. So it's going to be D. So you have a green tree, right? Blue tree, CE. Purple tree, CF. Golden tree, CG. Silver tree, CH. White tree, CI. And black tree, D amp. Okay, perfect. Let's take a look at numbers. Now we see again 40 to 50. So 41, as you can see here, the letter is DA because 4 goes with D, 1 goes with A. And these are sheep. The reason why they're sheep, and it's, believe it or not, it's really good when you're linking things to these sheep because they have colors, and they're really what they are in my storyline. They're the shepherds. Remember the shepherds, if anybody knows anything about the Bible, during the time of Jesus, you have all the shepherd, right? And they had their sheep that they were taking care of when they saw the star in Bethlehem, and they go to take care of the baby that was born. So they also become leaders of the universe, right? And we'll talk about them as power heroes later on. So these are the sheep, and the shepherds become guardians of the universe. So they have their letters, as I said, DB for orange, DC is for the yellow sheep, DD is for the green sheep, and you can see the double D. DE is the blue sheep, DF purple, DG gold, DS silver, DW white, and until we get to E amp. E goes with 5 and 0 goes with the amp. So if you're going to write a letter for number 50, it's going to be E amp and the black staff. Now, I'm using the staff because this 50 series, you notice all of these sheep are part of the 40s. All the trees were part of the 30s, and now you're going to have the staff. These are all prophets. A lot of these ideas that I use are biblical because, that's what I'm used to, and I drew a lot of my ideas from biblical stories that I'm familiar with. So prophets carry a staff, and because of that, so it's not the same as the curved staff that you use with the sheep. This is the long one that the prophets use, right? And it's a little bit crooked because it's like a long stick that they use. So that's the staff right there. And that will be the 50 series. I'm going to move this over so that you can see. Let me see. Hopefully you can see the display. Hopefully that's what you're able to see here. I really hope that you're able to see that. And ooh, what happened to my picture? Oh boy. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me bring this up. Why isn't that there? Picture in picture. That should be there. Okay, so here we have the 50 series, which you have all the staffs, the red all the way to white again, and the letters EA, EB, EC, ED, EE for 55, the blue staff, EF 56, EG 57, ES, and EI for 59. And then I'm going to switch over to number 60. I think this is the last group that I have covered here, and I'll have to go over. Wait, do I have it? Let's see. Okay, so I don't think I have any more. All right, so basically it's the same concept. With the 60s, there are going to be 10 different lamps, starting the black lamp, and then you have the red, the orange, yellow, and so forth. Because this is also another biblical concept of the women or the girls with the lamps, and do you have oil in your lamp? That story. That's a biblical story. So I use the lantern to sort of pull that idea. The lantern. So you have all these different color lanterns that represents the numbers 60s. So when you're looking for number 60, it's a black one. 67 would be a golden lantern. 69 would be a white lantern, and so forth. So that's the main concept of that. All right, now the way you would be using something like this, let me see if I can come down. Let me bring up Premiere Pro, and here is one of the things that I did. Let's see. For example, if you wanted to multiply, you could do your times table. So you have 20 times 20, for example, would be 400. Now, we didn't go over the numbers and lettering system for 400, but I'll just mention it here because we did mention number 20 is the black tiger. We talk about from Mississippi, Missy Jackson. Also, that's the 20th state in the Union. That's another thing that you're going to know. You're going to know their constitution. You're going to know the state, their capitals, and so forth. So lots of things you can learn by learning the system in numerical order. So 20 times 20 is 400, and that would represent a black nurse. So later on, I'll go over from 100, 200, 300, 400. All of them have a system, and then you'll go into like a red nurse, a blue nurse, white nurse, black nurse, and so forth. So 20 times 20 gives you 400, which is a black nurse. Now, it's something that you can just visually represent in your mind instead of just trying to multiply it out. It will begin to stick in your mind. You can start learning the hard ones. For example, if you wanted to learn your 9 times table, which is one of the really difficult ones, right? So you would start saying, if you wanted to say 9 times 9, so for me that would be 81, right? So I would see a white ibis holding a red fish, because 80, when we get to the 80s, we'll see that that's a fish, and 1 is red, so it has a red fish in its mouth. And if you have like 9 times 7, so I'm going to see 7 is a giraffe, and it's holding yellow lantern, which will be 63. So it's got this yellow lantern in its mouth. And so you can go through the whole alphabet, and you've got all these symbols that just hit you. And so instead of trying to multiply everything out, you can just hold the symbol in your head and review it periodically, like spaced repetition. So everything is linked like a memory palace, and you have all these symbols that make sense to you, and you can remember you can remember formulas, history, science, whatever you want. For example, if you want to remember the height of Mount Everest, I always see this white glove on top of Mount Everest. Why? Because 29 is change, represented by his white glove. And the height of Mount Everest is 29,000 feet, 35, and so they're 32, rather. So you have a little orange tree at the bottom of the mountain representing the 32. Might be various variations in terms of how many extra feet but average is 29,032 feet. So you have the white glove on top of the mountain. You're going to see that on top of Mount Everest. So you automatically will never forget that it's 29,000 feet. And you see a little orange tree there. You know what that is. The speed of light, 186,000, So you would visualize 100, and we'll talk about that when we get into those. We'll see that 100 represents the black scale, and then you'll have 86 is a fish. 80s, all the 80s represent a fish. 6 is purple, so that's a purple fish being weighed on that scale. And then you can see the lightning flashing and so forth. And so you can kind of get all of this in your head. So that's how I try to remember things, by substituting the memory rainbow symbols for whatever it is I want to remember, and create a picture, draw it, compose it, put it together, and that's how I remember it. Let me see if I can find something else here that's interesting. And basically, if you can see this, this is the tripod that I use. I love this tripod because it represents, the top of it is like a camera that's taking a picture of the story that you're telling it, right? And each leg of the tripod, the camera's on the tripod, and the one leg has the memory rainbow colors. The second leg has the symbols, like with the animals and the power heroes. And the last one is location. And wherever you visualize these images, that's what's going to stick in your mind. So you should use a place that's familiar to you, so that you will always remember, like your pool, your house, all the rooms in your house, the church you go to. You can use various places. You can use the sky above. You can use a lake nearby, the windows, the furniture, whatever you want. You can stick and attach a memory to them and make up a story that goes along with it. You can see a bird, you can see an elephant, you can see a lion, maybe tearing up something or doing something with whatever the memory is on that particular site. And it sticks better in your memory that way. So that's one of the things that I do. And let me see. Here's something. Let me go back to this. Let's get this. Okay. So, for example, if you wanted to know who the 4th president of the United States is, for example, here I say off the cuff, do you have any idea? So this is kind of interesting. And this is a picture that I constructed and composed myself. Actually, I put this together to help me to remember who that 4th president is. So number 4, for example, we talked about D, the letter D is for dog or doctor. So you've got the dog, it's the color green, so I made it a green dog, and it's also from Mars. So it's like, they're power heroes or humanoids from other planets. And I'm using the situation, the place, the location. This particular leg is at, say, my front door or your front door that happens to be green. The whole hallway is green. You've got this green dog. He's a mad green dog, and he's eating this jam, green jam, and it's like flowing from his mouth. And you can imagine him being a little bit more ferocious than this dog right here. And, green jam is like falling all over the place, like he's frothing at the mouth. So he's kind of like a mad green dog. What all these symbols mean to me is jam always represents the word or the name James, right? Mad, James Madison, and son, you can imagine him barking at either your son or somebody's son at the door, who come in to knock on the door or whatever. So you have James Madison. So James Madison would be the 4th president. And that's something you would never forget, because you're always going to remember the situation, the place where James Madison is standing at your front door. Imagine a green front door with a green dog, a son standing there getting barked at, green jam slobbering from the dog, right? That's James Madison. And I do the same thing with like Thomas Jefferson, and I put him in my yellow living room, right? And he's got cats there. And you're going to say, what does that have to do with anything? And you'll see they're eating Jiffy peanut butter. This cat, Tomcat, right, is there eating Tomcat, right? So if you think about it, Thomas Jefferson, Tomcat, Thomas Jefferson, Jiffy peanut butter is what I use. Yellow is third, the third color. Cats are involved, and you'll see that's the same thing if you try to remember the 3rd Amendment to the Constitution. It's all going to get grouped together. All those cats are in there, and they're wearing army fatigues. Because why? Because the 3rd Amendment to the Constitution prohibits the army from taking over your home like they used to do back in the old days. That protects people from having their homes stolen from them during times of war, right? So that living room with the army fatigues, cats wearing those fatigues, it's letting you know that this army's taken over, and they shouldn't be there. So, and then you have the Thomas Jefferson. He's the 3rd president. He's there he's also eating peanut butter and with a tomcat and so forth. So you can, and then you have, they're wearing yellow jerseys. Some of them are wearing yellow jerseys, right? And the cats, and that represents the state of New Jersey. Trenton, somebody's reading the Trenton Times, so Trenton is the capital of New Jersey, if you didn't know. So basically you're grouping all these images together, and everything that ranks 3rd can be put together in the picture. You just keep adding and adding, and they start helping each other out. So if you don't remember one thing, you'll remember something else. That you pull it all together, and it's just absolutely fabulous. So let me see. Okay. Now, let's see what else we have here. So I said here, do you know how to name all the 50 states in order that they joined the Union, as we were talking about, right? You have Delaware is number 1, so you're going to have George Washington, Delaware, red apples, Red Lake. This is an image. So let me see if I can locate. I wonder where, I'm not sure where exactly I put all of this. Let me look in documents and presidential composites. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's take a look at, let me see how this one looks. If I can, let's do that. Let me open it with QuickTime Player. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there you go. And you can see the waters moving. I hope that you can see this. Okay, so you have Miss Della Dover is her name. As I mentioned before, that I'm using the names of these student power heroes, right, to represent the state and the capital of the state. So you have Delaware, and Dover is the capital of Delaware. So and she's there with the apple pie. So you've got the red. It's the first state to join the Union, if you're not sure about that, right? And so you have the dove. This is a white dove here, but can be a red dove if you want. And the dove is eating the apple pie, so that reminds you of dove, D-O-V-E. If you cross off this R, you're going to have dove, Della Dover. Okay, you have the doves diving down to eat her apple pie. Here you have George Washington, and then you have this young man here doing a freedom of speech. The First Amendment to the Constitution is basically freedom of speech and so forth. and you have this red, as you can visualize this red lake in the background. This is where this is the location foot, that third leg off the tripod. So location is important. You've got all this scene taking place, the speech taking place with the kid in the little boat. You have George Washington watching, and he's washing apples. He's out there washing apples, and then all these people come along, and he's being distracted from what he's doing. So this is for scene for me, and this is the state of Delaware. This is the shape of it over here. Okay, so let me get rid of that one. Ooh, let's go back in. Let's take a look. This is, we were talking about Thomas Jefferson. Let me just show you my scene. Okay, so hopefully you can see this, and you can see me as well still. And let me see. It says we're still live. Okay. So here is Thomas Jefferson. All right, and here is the tomcat eating the Jiffy peanut butter. Here is my little cat. Cat is the third power hero. This is the animal, and then you'll meet Cat, which is the power hero. And you have the cat here. You have the troops. This represents the amendment, the Third Amendment to the Constitution, where you have these troops, and some of them have on fatigues, and they have the yellow jersey on top with the number 3 representing the third state. And you have the Trenton Times or Trenton News saying it's a sick, sad world, which I think is kind of funny. Let me see if that'll play. Right, there it is. It's a sick, sad world. That's so funny. And so you have Jefferson is eating Jiffy peanut butter. You have the tomcat. So Thomas, Jiffy, Jefferson. So you pull all this together. You have the Trenton News is saying it's a sick, sad world when all these troops are taking over your yellow living room. So you put it together, and you will remember these things. And it may seem minor, but it adds up, as it's going to help you improve even your IQ. You're going to learn a lot about the world, and you'll be able to hold on to information in a very nice way. Okay, so let me get rid of this one, and let me go back for another. Let's see. Take a look at, let's see, open with QuickTime Player. This is kind of funny. You can see here the little mouse is laughing his head off. This is, interestingly enough, this is the state of Pennsylvania, right? This is the second state to join the Union. This is how I like to group things together, right? And John Adams happens to be the second president of the United States. The Second Amendment, everyone knows, I don't even want to say it, the right to bear arms, right? So I have like the funny little picture. First of all, John Adams. The word John has a meaning to a lot of Americans. John is another word for toilet, right? So you wonder, why is he sitting on this orange toilet, right? Orange is the second letter of the color of the rainbow, and number 2, the second number of our Arabic numbers. So you have the second president, he's sitting on an orange John. So you want to make this thing as crazy and as whimsical and as funny as possible. So here you have John Adams dressed up in his garb, and he's sitting on this orange toilet on a dam. This is interesting. This is a dam right here. If you notice the water, the dam. So John Adams, right? So his name, Adam, right? It makes you think of a dam. Adam, A-D-A-M, Adams, but he's is S, so you can think of plural, John Adams, right? So that makes me think of him. I can think of this state of Pennsylvania, because here it is. I drew this to make it look like a fish mouth, just to remember the shape of Pennsylvania. To me, it's kind of like a pencil shape. So it's like a pencil shaped fish, and you have here You have the pen right in Penn Harrisburg. So this is Berg. Why is there a burger here, right? The fish is about to eat a burger, and see the burger has eyes, and it's like, oh no. So it's Harry's burger gets dropped onto the mouth of the fish, and you can make it as wacky as you want, right? And you remember this is Harry's burger, so that's a burger going into the mouth of the fish. So you change things up, you add things, because now you actually know the shape of Pennsylvania. So if you saw a different shape of a different state, you're going to remember, no, this shape is more elongated, and you can just put the little lip on there and you're good to go. Then you wonder why this orange bird is up here. So this orange bird is B for bird, right, is on top of his head. You can see the foot. I don't know, you can barely see the feet of the bird. So it's standing on his head and he's throwing oranges on top of him. And he's using his arms here to blow away the oranges, right? So I didn't want it to look too much like a real arm. I just call it arms. I didn't want to use the other word, the G word. So anyway, it looks more like a blow dryer here, and that's fine with me. So we all know that's the Second Amendment to the Constitution, and you have this scene, and then you have this little mouse. I just threw it in there. I don't know why. I just saw that little GIF or GIF, whichever you prefer, and he's laughing his head off at the scene that's going on. So I thought that was pretty funny. Okay. All right. So you can remember a lot of things just by knowing the symbols, throwing them all together, and that's how you're going to determine what it is you're looking at. All right, so let's go on. Let's take a look now at, let me see which one is, let's open this up. Open with QuickBooks. All right, number 5. We are at number 5. So I think we did 1, 2, 3, and 4. And number 5 is the 5th state, Connecticut. Connecticut to join the Union, yay! So here's how we look at it, right? Okay. The elephant is the symbol, elephant and Eve, sometimes blue eagle. I also use sometimes as a symbol for number 5. And James Monroe is here. He is the 5th president of the United States, right? And you notice there's this blue jam. You're like, what's the blue jam for? Remember I said any name, anytime you see jam, it's automatically a substitute for the word James, right? There's always some kind of James in there, right? Whether it's the first or last name. So James, and in this case, Monroe, right? And how do we separate him? So it's blue, so we know that he's the 5th president, blue jam. We have this elephant. The elephant is the symbol. The symbols, they need to be doing something to really link to the particular thing that you want to learn, in this case, the 5th president. So his Monroe, he's rowing. So you have this elephant with these rowers, right? Imagine he's rowing along here. He's rowing. Remember the Elephant Man? I always think of the Elephant Man. I don't know why. It may make sense to you, maybe it won't. But I always think of the Elephant Mon rows, right? So James for the blue jam, Monroe. And here he is again in the little boat rowing away, eating blue jam. Connecticut, this is the state of Connecticut. I added this little elephant tusk here at the end of it because you need to kind of remember the shapes a little bit, and if the funnier you make it, the better. So I added that. So if you turn it this way, and I kind of extended it down into this elephant trunk so that I remember it. Then I have this fort, right? Look at the Hartford, Connecticut. Hartford is the capital of Connecticut. So I think of a Ford car. It's blue, and it's got a heart. Okay, and I think of it as a heart in the back of the Ford. to kind of make it sound as much as something that you can, remember. So, and Connie, this is Connie. She's getting her hair cut, right? CTI. She's getting a CTI cut, whatever that is, right? She's getting a CTI haircut. So Connie is the girl sitting here, or maybe CTI is the person who's cutting her hair. So Hartford, and then this Ford, what's it doing? It's got headlights. They're outside, and the Ford is shining its light on them to give them light so that he can cut her hair. They're outside, like at the beach or something, and he's cutting her hair, and it's, they needed some light. So imagine the Hartford, shining the light on Connie as CTI is cutting her hair. All right, so Hartford. So that's something that you can remember. It may seem stupid and silly, but the stupider and the sillier, the more you'll remember it. You're going to remember this blue Ford car with a big old heart in the back. And you'll be like, heart and a Ford. It's Hartford, Connecticut, and Connie's getting her hair cut by CTI. Yeah! So it's stupid. I know it's stupid, but this is how your brain works. The brain likes wacky stuff, and if it's boring, it's not going to remember it. So trust me, this is how I remember this crazy stuff. It really does work. Okay, so that's a cool one, and you can add anything else you want in there. This is just an idea. Let me go back again, and let's take a look. We did the number 5. Let me do let's see what number 6 looks like. Oh yeah, this is a cute one. I really like this one too. So we want to know who the 6th president is. We want to know the Constitution. What's the 6th amendment to the Constitution? All 3 of them. I always like to wrap these 3 together because I figure they're very historical. And you can put in anything else you want. So I have the 6th president here, right? And you've seen this name before, but you're going to see a slight twist on it because his name is John Quincy Adams. Remember, John Adams was number 2, okay? So this is the grandson, and so that was his grandfather. They were actually related. Quincy, you're going to see, I'll show you how I distinguish them. First of all, purple, that he's number 6, so his color is purple, right? And this is Massachusetts is also the 6th state to join the Union, Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm going to go over to how we add that in. The power hero, the animal that goes with this is the purple firefox. The firefox, yes, I love it. So this is the purple firefox, and his tail is on fire, and the president, John Quincy Adams, is quenching. Now, this may seem stupid to you, but it's what I remember, and you can come up with your own. Quincy, I always think of it as quenching, Quincy quenching the fire. See, he's got this little pot that you water pot for flower water pot, and he is pouring water on the fire of the tail of the firefox who got caught up in this fire in Boston. So to remember Boston, Massachusetts, we have bow stones, a type of stone that I just made up. Stones fell on Ma's sack of choo-choo train sets, knocking them into the mass fire. The purple firefox was blamed for all of this, for starting the fire, and he demanded a speedy trial by a jury after he was accused of this particular crime. So John quenches the fire on his tail with water from the dam, right? So that goes along with Adam. There he is on the dam. You see the dam, the toilet. This is a purple instead of orange toilet with his grandfather. So then you see this jury room, right? So this represents the 6th Amendment to the Constitution. Here the firefox is being accused of starting the fire, and he wants a speedy trial. So you think of fire and speed and so forth. So this makes it the 6th amendment to the Constitution. So I put it all together from the Boston, Massachusetts, with this choo-choo train set, be knocked over into this mass fire, this huge fire. Nobody knows who started this huge fire in Massachusetts. And so he got burnt, actually, and his tail caught on fire as he's running through, probably trying to save people because he's a hero, and he's getting blamed because he happens to have gotten a little burnt in the process. And the president knows he is not guilty of anything, and so he's cooling his tail, quenching his tail. So here you have, this is my little story. So that's how you get all the symbols, put them together, come up with your own quirky story. This is my story. All right. And let me see if I made any more here. Oh, there was one that I thought was really cute. Let's see if I have it. Let me open this up a little bit. I had one. Let's see if this one. No, that's not it. Oh, I had a really nice one with number 9. Okay, it's not here. Let me see. Let me see what this is. No, that won't do that. Okay, so that's not here. Let me see something. Open with, let's see if the preview will open it. Okay, oh, here's a nice one. I didn't have the video, but I do have just a picture. This is New Hampshire. This is the 9th state to join the Union, by the way. This is, and Concord is the capital of New Hampshire. And so here what I have. Now, the 9th symbol is the white ibis, right? See, these are this is the white ibis, right? So I have these 3. The president, oh, I don't have a picture of him here. Oh, I have to add his picture. The president is William Henry Harrison, right? He's the 9th president. And the way I learned that is there are 3 little boys, Willie, Henry, and Harry. They're chasing this white ibis out of your son's white bedroom, right? So William Henry Harrison. He is the 9th president, and all you have to remember is that these 3 little boys are chasing the white ibis out of the white bedroom, and they're Willie, Henry, and Harry. William Henry Harrison, 9th president. Yeah, it's very easy if you use the symbols. I'm sorry, I didn't get around to adding the picture of William Henry Harrison, but he's there, and this is the state, New Hampshire, right? And that's the shape of it. The little boys, the white ibis, and it's flying out towards the window. I try to get a picture of a white bedroom to go along with the white ibis. And this is, okay, so why is there a thief here with a ham and a cord? So to remember, Concord, New Hampshire, here's the wackiness of it. So you have the con, he's a con, like a con artist, right? And he uses a cord to tie up the ham, the new ham. So he's stealing the ham, right? So Concord. So you imagine him by the window, getting ready to take off as well, along with the white ibis through the window. Concord, New Hampshire. So think of new ham. He's got the ham on the cord. So it'll trigger you, if you even have a vaguest idea that it's Concord, New Hampshire, and you're just trying to trigger your brain just to kind of remember it, it will be triggered. You honestly will trigger that particular. I should probably record some of this. You will definitely trigger your memory in trying to remember Concord, New Hampshire, right? So you have Willie, Henry, and Harry chasing the white ibis at the white bedroom, your son's white bedroom. So it's William, Henry, Harry, and then the son from the son's bedroom. And you have Concord, New Hampshire. You've got the the crook, the con artist, tying a cord to the new ham and dragging it out the window. He's taking off with the food. So that's my idea of that. And I just love the three little kids. They're so cute. So that's basically how I do it. So that's kind of how I do this. Let me see. Which one was this? Is this, let me see. This one, I think. Let's see which one this is. Okay. All right. This is number 10. This probably will be the last one that I will do. This is John Tyler. He is the 10th president of the United States. And I kind of set up a scene here. The 10th state to join the Union, Virginia, and Richmond is the capital. Okay, so what I did was I referred to Virginia as the virgin that married the rich man who owns the black jaguars, because number 10 is represented by the color black, and the symbol is the black jaguar. Okay, so then we take a look at John Tyler, and you try to find something about, remember the John, we talked about the John, so here you have a black John, a black toilet, okay, when you're remembering John Tyler, and you're going to put him in the scene with this black John. Now you can have him sitting on it, but I have him, instead of sitting on the John, this man represents him, right? You can't see his face. He is tiling around the black toilet. He's tiling. So tile, you think of the way the name sounds, and he's tiling the black toilet. So see these laying down tiles around it. So that's going to be John Tyler, right? And he's got, here you have the black jaguar standing there with him growling away, right? So you also have on the bathroom wall, I don't know if you can make out, these are jaguars, black jaguars that I put on the tile. So the whole bathroom is there, and you've got someone, latest news. Let me see if I can play it. Here you have the latest news coming in, is you've got the virgin marries the rich man who owns the, under here, I think it might say underneath here if I got this, with the black, rich man with the black jaguar. He basically owns the black jaguar. Yeah. So, and then you have John Tyler over there tiling around that. So this is a shape of Virginia, right? A little flat at the bottom, almost like a iceberg or something on the top here you can think of. So that's kind of interesting. And let's see, okay. All right, so let me go back out of this. All right, so here you have the chart, and later on I will redo this and add the additional rest of the chart up to 100. It actually goes up to thousands, right? It's just in an orderly fashion. And it's going to get easier as you move, as you go from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60. They're basically the same symbol, just the color is changing. So it makes it very easy. So you have to learn the first 29 are a bit individual, but it's easy because you already have the alphabet. You only have the additional 27, 8, and 29, and it's so easy, especially remembering 29 is the white glove on top of Mount Everest. You should not forget that, okay? And 27 is Cupid. Shouldn't forget that. 28 is going to be your mask rider, the horse with the mask, and so forth. So it makes it very easy to remember when you're using it. And if you're putting together a phone number, you can, put it together. If you had a number 535455, you're going to put it together, and you're going to have a yellow, green, and blue staff right next to each other. If you move back, let's go back here. if you have a phone number or a code to remember and it's got a 21 in it, all you do is going to substitute this red unicorn. If it's got a 25, you use the blue yeti. You know, if it's got a 28, you've got your horse, the masked horse. If it's the number 30 is involved, you've got your black tree, which I call the mourning tree. Mourning, not mourning, but as you mourn, you know. And there's a story with a child that is born under this black tree, and the mother dies. You know, it's a very sad story, but it's part of the whole story of the black tree taking care of the baby, raising the baby. So she's like the mother tree, actually, and she is the mother of all the other trees, 1 through 9. So she's mother, right? And so all these symbols can, and as you can see recently, I've been using the various numbers to represent some of the basketball heroes and so forth, you know, like Michael Jordan, you know, LeBron James, so forth. And they have number 6, you know, you've got the purple Firefox. So it's just amazing. Magic Johnson, the orange tree, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, the wolf. So you've got all these, you can use it in so many different ways to remember so many different things. I actually love it. I'm enjoying it more and more every day as I sort of expand it and let it grow, and sort of, it's almost like it's got tentacles and it's just growing and helping me to remember more and more things. So I wish if you use it and you come up with something interesting that you share it with me, send it to me in the comments. And I hope to do more of these live streams where I can show you how to use it even more with more historical, scientific events and formulas. And since this is my first stream, I have no idea how to disconnect. So I have all of this stuff set up, and I'm trying to figure out, how do I disconnect the stream other than, let's see, I'm reaching over here. I wish you could see this. It's pretty funny. I don't know. Oh, this is interesting. You can bring over, oh, look at that. Memory Rainbow Academy. Oh, cool. All right, tap it again. And let me see what this one says, if it has anything on it. Oh, look at that. Marjorie Lewis, MD, Memory Rainbow Academy. I'm being very silly right now. Tap it again, and that goes away. And let's see. Those are overlays. Now, the question is, how do I... Ooh, let's see. Live. Let me see something here. I can put this down. Turn this off. Turn this off. And I don't know. Am I live? Let's see. No upcoming stream. Schedule your stream. No, what's going on here? Live streaming, YouTube Studio. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to try to see, do I just, let's see what it says here. Please pause the live stream. Please pause, then you can change settings. Pause it. Doesn't say how to do it. So that's interesting. Live. Let me click on this. Okay. Excuse me a second. I'm just trying to figure this out. It doesn't say what to do here. Live. It just says I'm live. Do you want to pause the stream or just end it? Okay, let's go ahead and end the stream.